Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And a Chili's. Is it a Chili's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolarz.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NordCast and the Nord and Block podcast. It is Friday, April 18th, not April 20th, 2025. I am your host here at Nordic 97, joined with LeBlock James is my other host of the NBP. LeBlock, how we doing?
Fantastic.
Great to hear. And then we got Carter here as well from the NordCast. Carter, how we doing?
Also fantastic.
Awesome. We don't have Jack here. He's sick, but this is yet again another instance of a NordCast NBP collab episode because we are doing our first round playoff preview picks. We got 8 series to go through, our cup picks, other playoff talk, and this should be just overall a very fun episode to get into here. So we're going to start off previewing all 8 series. We'll do our cup picks at the end, and then we'll get into some general news because there is some stuff that happened this week that we still need to talk about. Do you guys want to start in the West or the East?
We'll flip a coin.
Whatever you have written down.
Okay. All right. We'll start off in the Eastern Conference. Why not? Let's kick it off with Devils versus Hurricanes. So, how this is going to work is we're going to preview the series. But first off, we're all going to say our pick at the same time. I'm going to count down from 3. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to say who we have to win. Just don't say how many games because we're going to go through each of us individually. But when I say 3, 2, 1, you say your team, okay? Okay, I got to make sure because we tried to do this on the NordCast and Carter just struggles at it. So, Canes versus Devils.
What is that? Hold on. What is that supposed to mean?
Sorry, Carter. That was no necessary chirp. I apologize.
Nah, that's crazy.
All right. Canes versus Devils. 3, 2, 1.
Canes.
All right, we all have the Canes. LeBlanc, you go first. You have the Canes in how many games and why?
I got the Canes in 5.
Oh, okay.
I just look at it. Jersey, they're down Jack Hughes. First of all, that's a big blow to their offense and their defense. They got Hamilton back. That's great. I just feel like Carolina. It's a mismatch. I don't see a world where Jersey wins this series. I really don't. I like Carolina's defense better. I like their offense better. I like their goaltending better. I think it's just a big mismatch. Jersey's going to steal a game. We'll steal a game, but I think it's going to be Carolina in pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Carter, you also have the Canes. And in how many games?
Yeah. I'm kind of bouncing between a sweep and 5. I'm going to go with the Canes in 5 as well. As LeBlanc said, down Jack Hughes, and he's a guy that's really hard to replicate. Thankfully, they do have a lot of guys on that roster, but since the start of February, they are 26th in the league in points. Now, granted, Carolina's 19th, so they're not that much better, but that's pretty much almost around the time that they lost Jack Hughes, and that just goes to show how much he means to this team. And so without him, I think it's going to be a very hard series for them to come by. I think they'll take 1 at home, but I think that Carolina wins most of these games in a very convincing fashion.
Yeah, so Jack has Canes in 5 as well. So we're Canes, a sweep across the board. I think that might be the only series we agree with. Actually, maybe not. We'll see. But I have the Canes in 6. I'm a little bit generous to the Devils. I think getting Dougie Hamilton back is going to prove huge for them. I honestly, the Canes are just better. Not having Jack Hughes. If Hughes was in this series, it's a little bit of a different question. And maybe you can make an argument for Devils. But just without Hughes and without some of their other players, I think the Canes are going to take this series pretty easily. I mean, I think they have the advantage in almost every single column. They're better offensively. They're better defensively. They're better in terms of goaltending. I think they're better in special teams as well. And as well as that, too, people kind of forget, but, I've been doing my playoff previews on YouTube. looking at the Devils, they're like below 500 since the second half of the season. They have not been good. And again, it's kind of like what last year was, where they were really good in the first half and just crashed and burned in the second half. But thankfully, they were good enough in the first half where they made the playoffs. So honestly, in any other scenario, they may not even be in the playoffs just because of how it is. But with the slightly better goaltending that they've had this year, that's why they're in right now. And I still think, though, like the Canes are just a way better team. I know, like, they kind of arguably got worse too after the trades and all that. You can make an argument for it. They've been way hotter since the end of the end of the trade deadline. So I think all signs point to Canes. It's like a first round bye, to be honest. Any other thoughts on that?
First round bye is a crazy statement, but
I
for saying in 6, then go like, it's like a first round bye.
Well, it kind of is. I'm not saying like the Devils are gonna, like, come back and win the, like.
I hear you.
I'm being generous to the Devils.
You're acting like the Canes are playing Seattle or a team like the Sharks.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe
it's like San Jose somehow managed to make the playoffs despite being the worst placed team, and it's a bye.
All right, maybe I'm a little bit too harsh on them. I'll take that back. I apologize, Canes fan or Devils fans. Actually, they're not that bad, but like, I just think like Carolina's been all that much better. You look at the numbers; it's not close.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any more on that series, or can we move on? All right, let's go over to the Battle of Florida. We're doing the divisional matchups. We might as well go back to the Battle of Florida. Lightning versus Panthers for the second year in a row. So Lightning or Panthers? 3, 2, 1.
Lightning.
Oh my God! Sweep across the board again. All right, LeBlanc, you have Lightning, and why?
I got Lightning in 6. I do want to say, if Florida's not healthy, I think that's the one big key for me why it's in 6 and not in 7. The Lightning I know they're getting Kachuk back, but you never know if he's going to be 100%. I trust Vasilevsky in the crease more than I trust Brovsky right now. The Panthers' new additions haven't really been clicking. You look at I know head-to-head doesn't really matter in the regular season when you come to the playoffs, but I think the Lightning have just dominated them this year. The Lightning I think they play a faster game. They're better 5-on-5. Brandon Hagel, if you look at him this year, most goals ever without having a power play goal in 35. So you bring that to the playoffs, that's going to be a big asset when they don't really call a lot of penalties.
Yes. So LeBlanc, let me ask you this. If Florida has everybody available for the first game, does your opinion change?
No. I still think it's Bolts.
Okay, well, good, because apparently Paul Maurice said that everyone is available for game 1, so they probably will be fully healthy. Yeah, so Carter, you also have the Lightning, and why?
Well, I got Tampa. Since the Four Nations break, the Lightning are one of the hottest teams in the league. They're top 5 in points since coming off that Four Nations break. And granted, Florida has dealt with a lot of injuries since then, but they're near the middle of the pack. And all that it is when it comes playoff time is which team is hot at the right time. And Tampa Bay is unbelievably hot right now. Vasilevsky is looking like his former self. He's playing absolutely unbelievable hockey as of late. Again, Brandon Hagel he's scored the most 5-on-5 goals out of power play goal. Like, that's exactly what you're going to need. And you're going to tell me this guy's not been saving his power play goals for the playoffs? Like, you're lying. So I think that this Tampa team they got a lot of rest lately, without making it to the Cup final last year. This is a rested Tampa Bay team. And, this is a Florida team that's really, really banged up. And even if they're healthy, that doesn't mean that they're 100% health as well. So I'm going to take Tampa in 7 in this one. But I think that every game is like 1 goal or like overtime. It's going to be a ridiculous series.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's lopsided. I also have Lightning in 7. Jack actually also has Lightning in 7. So I'm not saying that this is going to be an easy series for Tampa Bay. It's going to be nowhere near an easy series. It's going to be hard fought. You're going to get a lot of physicality. There's going to be some goals scored. It's going to be a hard-fought series for Tampa Bay to get it done, but I think they will. Again, like Carter said, they're healthy. They haven't been on playoff runs that much recently. I think the last couple of years, going to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals in today's NHL is near impossible. And Tampa Bay completed that near impossible. Now, I know they lost in one of those cup finals, but they still went to 3 straight cup finals. And I think the last couple of years, you could have argued if Vasilevsky was at the top of his game, they would have beat Toronto in that one year. Last year, Florida was just a better team. That was very abundantly clear. But they've been tired. They've just been tired the last few seasons, and it's hard for a team to be that consistently making it to the Cup Finals and going that far for so long. And it kind of backs up my reasoning with Florida too. They've been to 2 in a row. I don't really think they can do it a third time. I wouldn't be shocked if they do it a third time, but I don't think they can just because of the health. And it takes a wear and tear on your body, even if you do get a couple months off. And some of those players have, obviously come back and, they've been hurt. I don't think Florida has it this year. I think Tampa's rested. They have better depth than they've had in previous seasons as well since being on those runs. I just lean the Lightning just exponentially. Any more thoughts on that?
It's hard to get to a cup final. It's extremely hard to go back to the cup final, and it is near a miracle to get to your 3rd cup final.
Yeah. And Tampa did that.
And I do want to say that I do still think Florida is a way for Florida to come out of this series. I don't think it's going to be it's not like the other series where it's it's clear as day. This one is you can flip a coin, but I think Tampa has the edge.
Yeah, I just think Tampa better goaltending. I think their offense has been rolling, especially recently. I like their back end with some of the guys that don't get really looked at that much. I just think that they're going to take the edge over Florida this year. Again, people kind of forget last year there were, I think, 2 or 3 games in that series that went to overtime. Had 1 or 2 of them gone the other way, I think it could have been a different series, and that could have changed everything. So again, I lean Lightning here. I'm not I'm not saying it's far-fetched, but I'm going Tampa. Let's move on from that series. The Battle of Ontario. Let's just hop into that. Senators versus Leafs. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Leafs.
Oh, LeBlanc, we finally have a difference. LeBlanc, you're going with Sens, and why?
And tell us why it's not bias.
Yes.
Okay, it is bias. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not bias. I have the Sens in 7. You look at the way these Toronto. I know in season doesn't matter, but Toronto hasn't beat Ottawa in their own building since 2022.
Ooh, really?
Ottawa, they don't play Ottawa like they're a team that matters, and I think that will change. And I think Toronto has the playoff experience. This is a series that's going to be. There's going to be a dogfight. This is going to be a grueling physical series for both teams. I feel like Ottawa's built for the playoffs. The way their roster is constructed, they have a lot of young guys who don't have playoff experience. But you look at a few years ago, we had Jersey, New York. About 2 years ago, Jersey won that in 7. And they have a lot of guys who were not playoff vets, who were not it was their first playoffs. And I feel like Toronto, all the pressure's on Toronto. There's no pressure on Ottawa. Ottawa loses in 5, 6, 7, still a good season. Toronto loses, the whole world's going to implode, according to Leafs Nation.
Well, yeah, we've had that discussion so many times on the NBP.
I look at goaltending. I know Allmark's previous playoff stats aren't amazing, but I feel like I always take Allmark over Wall and Stolarz. And Wall and Stolarz have been fantastic this year. I'm not gonna say they haven't been good. They've been fantastic for the Leafs. Defensively is a toss-up. I think Toronto has the better firepower up front, though, and forwards.
No question.
But Ottawa's got a very good defensive middle six, and you saw Shane Pinto this year come in and really take a bigger step defensively under Travis Green. And in the games they played against Toronto, he shut down Matthews. He shut down Nylander. It's going to be a hard series. I think Toronto. I'm not saying Ottawa's going to. It's going to be a tight series. I'm taking Ottawa because that's what I want. That's
That's what I want.
That's a valid take.
I know what.
Fair enough. I'm sure Carter will say the same thing in a couple of minutes. All right, Carter. Oh, sorry, you have more?
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. Only thing I feel like we're finally gonna get playoffs games in Ottawa, and I don't know if you've seen how much those tickets have been going for. They've been they're out in the market now for like $500-$600. It's nice to get the building back though, because they haven't even gone public yet. The tickets. These are all for ticket holders and insiders. These weren't for the public to buy. So hopefully we get the building back and it'll be great. First playoff game in 8 years, and I'm going to one of them, so I'm so excited.
Love to hear that.
That's sweet.
Carter, you have the Leafs, and why?
I would rather not take the Leafs, but it's what I think is going to happen. I got the Leafs in 7. I don't think that this is a cakewalk at all. Ottawa is they're getting hot at the right time again, which is again all that the playoffs really are, is which team's coming into it hot. Toronto, on the other hand, is also hot. They're 4th in the league in points since the Four Nations break. But they always find a way to make the playoffs way tighter than it needs to be. Realistically, they should be able to, on paper, they should be able to handle Ottawa, no problem, beat them in 5 or 6, pretty convincingly. But there's something about Toronto every year that just, you can't bet on them because something always happens, whether it's Montreal in 2020 when they were supposed to wax them and they couldn't. Columbus in the bubble year couldn't get it done. Like, just so many instances where these were very winnable and they just couldn't do it. So I think that we're going to finally get to see Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs. We saw Matthew Tkachuk play in the playoffs. I mean, a good amount in Calgary, and then we saw him absolutely just break out in Florida. And I think that Brady Tkachuk is going to be an absolute game changer in this series. He's going to be very good for Ottawa. But it's very hard to bet against a Matthews, Nylander, Marner, who finally got his first 100-point season. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of questions that have to be asked. I think goaltending is going to be a big one. How's Ullmark going to play after his initial playoff collapse before completely losing his net to Jeremy Swayman? Is he going to be able to bounce back? Is he going to have this crazy year that he's had this year in the regular season? Can that transition into the playoffs? So, and then with Toronto too, is Joseph Woll going to be able to be good between the pipes? Is Stolarz going to be good between the pipes? Like, there's so many questions in this series. But unfortunately, I'm going to take Toronto in 7. But I do think that Ottawa is going to put up a hell of a fight.
Jack has Leafs in 5. LeBlanc, how do you feel about that?
Oh,
Ian up. That's what I think.
oh, 5. Damn.
That's rough. I feel like 6 or 7, sure. 5, I can't see 5.
No, I can't see 5 either. Like, it's the Leafs. They're not gonna handedly defeat Ottawa like that. They can't defeat any team like that.
This isn't, as what Nordic would say, a first round bye.
Yeah, this is not a first round. Oh my! This is not a first round bye. I have the Leafs in 7. I'm really not that confident in it though. Like, I want the Leafs to win. I want the Sens to win. My Sens are one of my favorite teams, but I just going off of what I think. Again, like, I get LeBlanc's points and they're pretty valid, referring to the Rangers series back in 2023. But again, like, I feel like the biggest thing that it's going to come down to is if Toronto can score. If they can actually score for once in their life, and you look at Ullmark's playoff numbers, like LeBlanc said, they aren't like the greatest in the world. If Toronto can finally score, I think they can win this series. And that's what it all really comes down to for me. I like their goaltending tandem. I think that it's useful to have something like that. However, in my opinion, if you combine Stolarz and Woll, you get Ullmark. And that's what the Senators have. So again, like, it's kind of a funny analogy there. I thought that was pretty nice. I like Ottawa's blue line more than Toronto's, and that's just an honest opinion. I think Morgan Riley is not what people think he is. I think he might even be on his way out if Toronto loses this series. But I think the Leafs, if they lose this, it's nail in the coffin for Shanahan. He's gone. The core might get wrapped around a little bit with the contracts coming up, but I think the Leafs, because of that and because of what's on the line, I think they're gonna win this in 7.
Nordic, do you know how many playoff games Anthony Stolarz has started?
The GOAT, NordCast GOAT, started like 1.
Started 0. He came in and released.
Oh, started. I mean, he played 1. Yeah.
Played 1.
Well, he was a backup for so long. I don't know why he's the starter. Why aren't you starting Joseph Wall?
Yeah, he is the projected.
Oh, they're not starting Wall?
I don't think they are.
I think they're starting Stolarz. That's what the assumption is. I would prefer to play Stolarz than Wall. Wall when we play Wall, he just owns us. Like, I don't mean to be.
He's a wall.
The wall. Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, they go. Like, I get it. Stolarz has better numbers, and he's been pretty good this year. I wish Jack was here because he'd jump on his knees for Stolarz. But I just think, like, why? Why are you going with him? You've seen what Joseph Wall can do over these last couple of playoffs. Like, in the series against Florida, he forced a game 5, played out of his mind against Boston. He's the reason why that went 7. If you put Samsonov back in net for that 5th game, bitch would have been done in 5. And I think maybe that would have been better for Toronto. They would have torn it down. But I just don't know why they keep starting other goalies over Wall. When are you going to realize that he is a good goaltender in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to our last Eastern Conference series here before we move into the West. Capitals versus Canadiens. This was finalized last night. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Caps.
All right, so we all have Caps. LeBlanc, why?
I have Washington in 7.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I think Montreal is going to be a very trendy upset pick, considering how they just squeaked in, but they've been playing really, really well. And I know on the Northern Block pod, I've had my question about Washington all season. I think we've had that conversation at least once every 2 episodes. We have that conversation, but
yes.
Like Washington, I'm concerned. It's going 7 because Thompson's not healthy yet. He's supposed to be back sometime in the first round. I would trust Thompson and net over Lindgren. Montembeault is a big game goalie, though. Like, when it matters, he shows up.
Yes.
They're fast. Montreal is fast. They got a young core. They got a young defense. Lane Hudson on the back end. Caden Gooley. Mavison's been playing better as of late. But then you look at guys like up front, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Ivan Demidov coming in. With Patrick Laine, Josh Anderson, like, I don't know, he found the magic beans. And he's been playing really well. I feel Montreal is clicking at the right time. I know they lost the previous 2 games, but they've been clicking at the right time. They've been very good all season. I feel like they can pull off the upset, but I'm taking the Capitals because they're just get Logan Thompson back. I think it's set in stone that they're going to win. Won't be easy, but they'll win.
Definitely won't be easy. Carter, you have the Caps as well, and why?
I got the Capitals in 6. Montreal has been really, really hot, but they've also been really, really cold. Since the Four Nations break, though, they've been 15-5-6. So a lot of overtime losses, a lot of short little 1-point stints there.
Those points really helped.
Yeah, they did, definitely. But it probably would have helped them better if they would have won some of those games instead. I just don't. I'm not big on Montreal. I know it's going in 6, but like, I don't know. I just don't like how they had to fight so hard to get into there, and how they had such a big lead on Columbus, and it came down to the last game. They could have dealt with this like a week or like 2 weeks ago, and they just couldn't do it. And that's not what you want when it comes to playoff time. Like, you need to make sure everything's good. Washington, yeah, they've been kind of cold since the Four Nations break, 15-10-1. But I mean, this team has still, like, they weren't supposed to even be up for the number 1 in the East, and here they are. So I'm still going to go Washington. That team just has a lot of playoff experience, and I think that locker room just seems so much fun. All the clips that come out from there, they just seem like a really tight knit group. So I'm gonna go with Washington there. Just too many questions in Montreal, but I think that barn is going to be absolutely buzzing, and it's going to be very hard for Washington to do anything there, because during the regular season in those last two games, that place was rocking. So I don't really talk specifics, but Washington in 6.
Jack has the Habs in 6. Just want to put that out there. Of course, he has to be the only outlier. Yeah, I have the Caps in 7. First off, I want to say I've loved how Montreal's been this year. It's just been such a great story. I mean, we thought that they were going to be competitive, or at least I did. I thought they'd be competitive and decent, but I didn't think they would be this good and be in the playoffs this year. My only thing is that, first off, the inexperience. If I'm going to say that Ottawa is the first team in the playoffs, I don't know how they're going to do. I need to say the same thing about Montreal because it's kind of the same example. With the Caps, though, I'm saying 7. Just because, again, what LeBlanc said, like, if Thompson's not there, I'm a little worried. But again, I think Lindgren still can get the job done for the most part. And again, as you said, Carter, like, the biggest thing is, like, it's hard to play in that Bell Center. So if Montreal can take one of the games in Washington in that first 2 and then go to the Bell Center, win both, they're up 3-1. And I think that that's something that we could see happen. But I don't know. I just think that the Caps, they're a better team. I do have my concerns about them. I get, like, I wouldn't be too shocked if Montreal upsets because it just screams it this year. But I'm not falling for it. I'm going Caps in 7. Although I do think, like, it going 7 games it will be a pretty dramatic 7 games at that. So that's the Eastern Conference right there. Anything else to add?
History will always repeat itself. Many years ago, Washington was the best team in the East. They got upset by the 8-seeded Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, here you go. So why didn't you pick the Canadiens then? Oh, because you hate Montreal. That's right. Sorry,
Yeah,
I forgot about
that. That's literally, yes. That's the only reason I didn't pick them.
You know what? Fair enough. Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't pick them because sometimes history is wrong. So.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. So that being said, we're gonna do like an Eastern Conference finalist pick. So so of the teams you guys picked, I know we all picked kind of different. We all picked kind of the same ones besides the Ottawa series. Who do you guys take to come out of the Eastern Conference and why? LeBlanc, you can go first since we're going in that order.
Tampa.
Ooh, okay. And why?
Goaltending, the ability to score 5-on-5, just the way that they're playing. I see them on a collision course for Stanley.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Carter, who do you have coming out of the East?
I also have Tampa.
Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, and why?
They've done it so many times. Like this core has done it so many times. Kucherov's unreal, Point's unreal, Hagel's unreal. They're built for playoff hockey.
Okay. I have the Canes coming out of the Eastern Conference.
That's my finalist.
That's my finalist. Yeah, that's my other one.
Look, yeah, that's my conference finals as well, Lightning Canes. I just think Carolina has banded around the Mikko Rantanen situation. With that guy saying, I don't want to play here, I feel like ever since then they've had this kind of aura, this kind of feel to them where it's like, yeah, screw you. We're going to show you why you should want to play here. And as a result, they're going to go on this like insane run with the goaltending from Anderson and Kochetkov, with the stacked blue line they got, with Nikishin coming in as well. We forget about that, by the way. He's coming in there for Carolina, too. I mean, we kind of skipped over that because it's a first-round bye. So, but yeah, Canes going there. I think they're winning the East, in my opinion. And then Jack, I'll have to ask him what his pick was with that. But let's move on to the West. Let's do our divisional matchups first. So I'm going to make Carter wait a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna start off with Avalanche and Stars. So this is probably one of the series that I'm looking forward to the most. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Avs.
Oh my God, LeBlanc, what did you say? I can hear you. All right, you have the Avs and why?
The Stars have lost 7 straight. I'm of the opinion where if you come into the playoffs cold, usually that's not a plan for success. They have the goaltender, the Stars do, but Colorado's been clicking as of late. I believe I don't have the stat up on my phone right now, but I know they've been playing very well since the trade deadline. I think the pieces they picked up are playoff guys you need in the playoffs, guys like Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle. I'm forgetting who else, but that's the only 2 I can remember at this moment.
Lindgren as well. I guess you could count like Blackwood, but that was like in October.
Yeah, Blackwood's been playing really good hockey. I like their defense. I don't usually bet against Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon, and I'm not going to here.
Okay. Carter, you also have the Avalanche, and why?
Oh, sorry, I have Avs in 7. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
All right, okay. That's fair.
I have Avs in 6.
Okay.
I think that arena in Colorado is unreal. I think that it's going to be very hard for Mikko to go play in Colorado. I don't know. Has he played in Colorado since the trade? I'm not 100%.
He's played one game, I'm pretty sure, yes.
And I don't think he played that well.
He did.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really check, but I'm gonna take that as my main point of this. I think that Colorado is gonna really band together over this. Dallas, Heiskanen's not back, right?
Nope, he probably won't be back.
Yeah, Heiskanen's not back. Jason Robertson just got hurt last night. So that's not super ideal, and that is why you rest your starters. I was so confused when I saw that he was playing. I was shocked when the entire Jets roster was playing yesterday. I'm like, everything is locked up right now. Like, you don't need to risk this. I get if you want to play like your second line guys and everything like that, but like, why is Jason Robertson playing? Like, they had Mikko playing, I think, too. Like, you don't want to risk things this late into the year, especially in your last game of the season. So,
against Nashville.
Yeah.
Of all teams. It wasn't like a good team. It was a terrible team.
The Jets did it versus the Ducks. Like, what? Like, we saw...
You had to show Cutter who's boss. So
yeah, but that was Logan Stanley. He would have played anyways.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways, I just don't like the amount of injuries that Dallas has right now, because that's 2 big players on their team. Mikko's going to either have a boom or bust series. He's either going to put up 2 points per game in this one, or he's going to put up 2. It's not a recipe for success, and Colorado's so good. They're going to band together if Landeskog does return, and he looked not too bad in for the Eagles there. So we'll have to see if he does end up suiting up for the postseason. But I don't know. That Colorado team's too good to count out. So I got Avs in 6.
Okay. I like what all of you are saying. Here's my thing, though. I can't be a switcher. I can't switch up on my take. I had Dallas before the Robertson injury, before a couple other things that we're hearing with Landeskog. I got to stick with Stars. Look, I just think that like the Stars have a better offensive core. The injuries may take away from that, though. I do think Colorado has more top-end talent, but Dallas is deeper. LeBlanc, you talk about the goaltenders and Ottinger saying that Ottinger's better. They kind of have like even stats. Like they have the same save percentage. They have similar goals against. They have a similar record. They're pretty even in terms of that.
Yeah,
so,
but
I didn't want to say that for you.
Yeah, but you look at Ottinger's been in the playoffs. Ottinger's been in the playoffs.
True.
Ottinger's been around. Blackwood had one run with New Jersey, I believe, and that was years ago.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I just want to say their regular season numbers are pretty similar in terms of that. I'm still going Stars in 7. It's not going to be an easy series. It's going to be a hard fought. If you told me now the things that I know, maybe I'd swap with Colorado, but I got to stick with my guns. I'm going Dallas even still. So, can you respect that at least? That I'm sticking by what I believe in. I'm not switching up.
If that's what you want.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
If it helps you cope.
It will help me cope when they lose in 5.
Okay.
But yeah, like they're not. But like as LeBlanc said, I do agree with that. Like if you're not hot heading into the playoffs, it's more likely than not you're not gonna do a lot in the playoffs. Like you see a lot of teams that they'll be sluggish heading in and they'll lose. That's what it is. I mean, the only like outlier that I can think of was the Jets Oilers back in 2021, where the Oilers were hot and the Jets were definitely not, and the Jets sweep the Oilers. So again, like that's the only outlier that I can think of it there. But again, I gotta stick with Stars. I gotta stick with my guns. Next up, then, let's do Oilers Kings for the 100th year in a row. 3, 2, 1.
Kings.
Oilers. All right, you both went Kings. LeBlanc, you have Kings and why?
Speaking of not coming to the playoffs cold as ice, the Oilers. And I know they've been down McDavid and Draisaitl, and I know they're going to be back for Game 1. But here's the thing: I have Kings in 7 because I don't like to bet against McDavid. It's too scary. I like what the Kings have going for them. It's the first time the Kings also have had home ice advantage against the Oilers. LA's clicking at the right time. LA's got the goal. Kemper's been fantastic, and I take Kemper over Stuart Skinner any day of the week. Byfield's clicking in that offense. You look at guys like Kempe, Fiala. Those guys are clicking. Their bottom 6 has been really good. Guys like Laferriere have been fantastic for them. I think it's just the 4th time's a charm for me. This is the year LA's going to do it. The Oilers are coming into this series without Matthias Ekholm as well, which is a huge loss for the Oilers. I don't see a scenario. Well, I do, but I don't see. If the Oilers win their 4th in a row, I always root for all the Canadian teams, but that would suck. I'm sorry. It's like seeing the same movie 4 times.
It's like a first round bye.
Yeah.
I had to do that. Sorry. All right, Carter, you also have the Kings. Why?
Yeah, I got the Kings in 7. They're the hottest team at home. They don't lose at home. It's very rare for them to lose at home. They have home ice advantage. We just watched them. I know that this was the Oilers B squad, but we just watched them absolutely manhandle them. I don't care if it's the B squad. Losing 5-0 is ridiculous. Darnell Nurse tried to injure so many guys. Like they were just out there to try and hurt them as much as possible. And they couldn't do it. And I think that that's really going to light a fire under the Kings' asses. And they're like, these guys are trying to hurt us in the regular season. We're going to do it in the postseason. And I'm expecting a lot of bodies being thrown around here. This is going to be an absolute feisty series. I might throw some money on McDavid to drop the mitts once. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. But this is going to be a really good series. LA, one of the hottest teams in the NHL. I think they're like 2nd in point. Yeah, they're 2nd in points since the Four Nations break. Like hot at the right time is an understatement. These guys are burning. And it is really good to see. I'm hoping that we don't see Edmonton beat them for the 4th year in a row because that would just be devastating. But as a Canadian, I want as many Canadian teams to make it as far as possible because we need Lord Stanley back. But LA just seems too good this year to bet against them.
I'm going Oilers. You know, LeBlanc, you said to never count out McKinnon and Makar. I'm never counting out McDavid and Draisaitl just because I can't. My heart, I'm telling you, my heart deep inside of me. I have one, by the way. I know I'm very heartless to Carter a lot, but my heart says Kings, but my brain just says Oilers, and I just can't get it out of my head because they've done it every year. I think, again, maybe without Ekholm and how the Kings are playing right now compared to the Oilers, maybe you could say that it's the Kings, but it feels like the Leafs a lot of the time. We're like, oh, this is the year, and then it's not. And I feel that way with Edmonton. And I don't know if that's a good example between them and the Leafs, but I just feel like I don't feel like it's the Kings' year. My heart wants to say Kings so bad, but my brain is just Oilers. I like the Kings more than the Oilers this year, by the way. Just I can't put it through my heart.
There's not a team that you want to compare yourself to in playoff time than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I was gonna say, what a brutal comparison!
Yeah.
Well, let's be real here. If LA loses again to the Oilers, what happens?
Rob Blake is getting shot through a cannon out in the Pacific Ocean. That's what's going to happen. But
that guy hasn't done anything in any deadline at all.
Also, I picked the I picked the Kings because my brother is home. He's a Kings fan, and if I pick the Oilers, he's going to kick my ass. So,
that makes a lot of sense. So I'll get behind that. That's valid.
So it's a safety pick.
I can't put it through my heart. I can't put my heart ahead of my brain. I can't. Can't do it.
But yeah.
Well, thankfully you're not the smartest guy in the shed.
Yeah, I mean that is very true. I'm not the smartest person here, even though I am the host. I'm probably number 3, and I'm number 2. I'm number 2.
Who's one?
You. Obviously.
Yes.
I knew that was coming. I'm like,
I gotta step. I'm sorry.
I'm free, aren't I?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant NordCast. I mean NBP. It's like we're both number 2.
Okay, that's
me and you are both number 2 of the block.
That's not
All right. Anyways, Vegas versus the Wild. We'll kick off to that series next. 3, 2, 1.
Vegas.
Okay, so we all have Vegas. LeBlanc. Why?
Because I have
what a statement.
I got Vegas. Vegas just better overall team than the Wild. The Wild have been injured. I know they just got Eriksson and Kaprizov back, and they look pretty good the last couple games there. But Vegas is just a juggernaut. I have Vegas in 5. I feel like Gustafsson is hot or cold. I think he's very inconsistent. He's a good goalie. I don't think Vegas' goaltending is better than that, though. But their defense and their offense is just so much better than the Wild right now. I don't think Minnesota's defense has had a great season. I would take the Knights over the Wild in a heartbeat.
Carter, you have the Knights as well. Why?
They're just the better team. We've said this for pretty much every series. The hottest team matters, and Vegas is top 3 in points since the Four Nations break. And Minnesota has been just meh. They haven't been a whole heck of a lot to really jump out at. I know Kaprizov's been hurt. He's finally getting back, but he doesn't look like the player that he was at the start of the season, right? Like this guy was almost averaging like 1.6, 1.7 points per game. Like he was on fire. Didn't look like anything could really stop him. And then 2 injuries and they pretty much almost shut him down for the season. He's back. I expect him to be very, very good. But at the same time, this Vegas team is good in the playoffs every single year. Every time I don't think they're going to do something good, they do something good. So I'm switching my stance. I'm finally standing on a Vegas side here, which I hate having to do because I hate them. But they're too good. That roster is just too good. Jack Eichel's having a career year. The goaltending has been superb. And that defensive core is unreal too. Like we forget how deep like this Vegas team kind of is, and it's quite impressive to see. So, yeah, that's my take.
It's like Oilers Kings. My heart wants to say the Wild, but my brain says Golden Knights.
Yeah, me too.
I'm taking Knights as well in 5. This is one of the series that I just think is so easy for this. It's underlooked mainly because of how just like lopsided the picks are. Like it's all Vegas for everybody except for Jack, who has the Wild in 7, by the way.
Okay, so he's just being Central Division bias. I like that.
Yes, obviously he's a Blackhawks fan. I'm surprised he anyways. Yeah, I'm pulling Knights in 5. It's abundantly clear. Again, like the Wild, since the second half of the year, they are like only a couple games above 500. They have not just been good. Again, I know it's injuries. Could I see a world like, is this like Devils and Canes where like you can't see a world where the Wild win it? Not necessarily. I could see the Wild maybe pulling off an upset, but I think Vegas is all around a better team. They are by far the best in this series. They're second best in the conference, I would argue right now. I'm going with Knights in 5. It's really not close for me at all. I think it's gonna be Minnesota will take 1, but apart from that, it's all Vegas. It's all entirely Vegas. So that's what I think. All right, I've made Carter wait long enough. Let's get to our last series projection here. Jets versus Blues, the President's Trophy winner and the last team in the Western Conference. 3, 2, 1.
Blues. No, I'm totally kidding.
You're Jets. You're Jets. LeBlanc, Carter was too loud. What did you say?
Jets.
Okay, you have Jets and why?
So this is another one I was going back and forth on because the Blues had that hot streak. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I always say to myself, James, let's not be stupid. Just take the Jets. Just take the Jets. I like the Jets, like you said, the best regular season team. That's got to count for something. Hellebuck's been heart level, and if that's a big if, because the last 2 playoff runs of the Jets, he hasn't looked so great in the crease. If he can play like he has all season in these playoffs, it's pretty easy Jets pick. The Jets have amazing firepower up front. They have a really deep forward core. I know they just won the President's Trophy, but I don't think people like really respect that they have a really good forward core. Defensively, Josh Morrissey's leading the charge there. Neil Pionk will do Neil Pionk things. And
I guess we should talk about that.
Yeah, and he just got paid. Just got paid. I think the Jets are going to. This isn't a first round bye, as you say. I think the Blues are going to steal. I had them stealing 2, but I think the Jets will prevail. At the end of the day, the Blues, if Binnington plays like he becomes forward agents Binnington, then it'll be a fun series though. It'll be a very fun series.
Yeah, I agree. Carter, I'm going to start off with this just because it's you there. So the Jets made 2 moves over the last week. They signed Alex Iafallo and Neil Pionk. Before you get into your picks, how do you feel about both those deals?
I'm happy with the Iafallo one. The Pionk one feels like a little bit of an overpay right now from a lot of my buddies that have been kind of saying things about it. But everyone's got to remember cap's going up tremendously over the next 3 years. So like this is going to look like probably like a $4 or $5 million contract within the next 3 years. So I'm not too worried about it. It just looks like a lot right now because you're like, whoa, Cale Makar is making $1.5 to $2 million more than this. Like he's not even that close to him. But I mean, he's had a really good year, battled through some injuries, and he's been really helpful on that back end and had a hell of a slap shot goal last night. So kind of rewarded him with a big paycheck for that one.
Okay, so you have Jets in how many games and why?
I have Jets in 5. It's really hard to bet against Jordan Binnington. He's really good in the playoffs. But I mean, we've been so good this season that I don't think that we're gonna really see that as a big problem. Because keep in mind, the Blues were the hottest team. They had won 12, 11 straight, and we beat them 3-1. And it was just, that's it. Their streak gets over. We broke it. And I don't see that as being a problem because had they beaten us in that, it's like, whoa, this team was hot and they just came in and destroyed us. Didn't happen. So we have that kind of confidence going. Plus, we've been just so good as of late. President's Trophy is going to really help. And as we all know, the Winnipeg Whiteout is the hardest time to ever be. Well, I'm not going to say the hardest time to ever be in Winnipeg because the hardest time to ever be in Winnipeg is middle of winter downtown late at night. Yeah. Thanks, Nordic. But
You can't
yeah.
fly out of the local airport. All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
just let me have this, man. No, but yeah, we're hot at the right time. We've been hot all season. The only things that worry me is getting Nikolai Ehlers back. I think he will be back for Saturday. Everyone is going to see what Jets hockey's all about, and it's going to be a fun time. I'm really excited, and let's get this show on the road. I'm fucking hyped, man. I'm hyped.
Glad you guys have the first game of the year, or first game of the playoffs, not first game of the year, first game of the playoffs. Yeah, I have Jets in 6. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Carter's saying it's going to be. I think the Blues are still a very good team, even though I
never said it was going to be easy.
Well, yeah, I know. You had 5 games, though. I think it's going to be a little bit harder than 5 games. Honestly, I look at the biggest thing for me, and I think LeBlanc brought it up a little bit, is Connor Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck is the biggest thing in this series. If Hellebuyck tanks, consider it a Blues win. But if Hellebuyck is even half of what Hellebuyck is in the regular season, Jets win the series. Honestly, Jets win the series. That's what it takes. I like the blue line and what they've built. I like Sandberg. I like Morrissey. I like Pionk. I think they have a very good top 4 there. I like their top 6. Their middle 6 is pretty good as well. I think the Jets just outmatched the Blues in everything. St. Louis went on a great run, and I think this bodes very well for their future. And it shows that maybe in a couple more years and in the future with these prospects they've had developing for a little bit, they are going to be able to maybe come in a couple more years and be a better team than they are. So I think it shows good for the Blues, but I have the Jets in the first round. It really isn't that close, but I think it will be a little bit difficult. A little bit. It's like mild.
I think I don't say I disagree with that. But you also got to remember that we're still missing like 2 of our best players. Like Gabe Velarde's still got to come back, which he's been skating in a contact jersey. I'm pretty sure he was out there for the Moose practice. Yeah, he's been skating with the Moose, so he should be back. It'd be nice to get him back for game 1. I'll tell you that for free. So I can't lie. I'm so excited. I love playoff hockey. It's so much fun. Nordic, I'm sorry you haven't gotten to witness it in a while.
Yeah.
One day. You will get it one day.
One day.
Yeah.
It's come from me, too. I haven't seen it in so long.
Well, yeah. I've seen it in almost 10 years. So
I'm like the only one who's privileged.
Yeah. Well, it is almost 10 years. Like 8. You haven't seen it in 8 years. So I'm going to stop my crying until I'm at least in year 6 or 7 of it. So just want to say that.
The one thing I will say about Carter brought up the Blues, how they came into the Jets house and the Jets beat them. The Blues also were on a back-to-back, and they had Joel Hoferin, not Jordan Binnington. But I still think the Jets still would have beat them pretty easily in that game. But yeah, that's really all I want to say.
Okay.
Blues, clues, old news. Jets in 5.
All right. Who is your guys' pick to win the Western Conference? LeBlanc, you can go first, and why?
Colorado.
Ooh, okay.
I went. This is the coming out of the West was so hard because I went back and forth between all the 4 teams I have winning this because I genuinely believe all 4 of those teams have a legitimate shot to get to the Cup final. The West is such a dogfight.
Okay. That's fair. That's totally fair.
I think I said it earlier. I don't bet against Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar.
That's true. That's very true. Carter, I think I know your answer, but who do you have coming out of the Western Conference? You got to say it for the audio listeners.
Yeah, I did. I said it. Relax, okay?
And why?
We're the best team in the league.
You got to stick by your guts. This is the 3rd year in a row. The 3rd year in a row win the Cup.
But here's the thing, is that this is like the first time where it's like not actual bias. it's sprinkled a little bit on there, but like the last time's like, were we really gonna beat Vegas as the wild card one? No. Was there a chance we could have beat Colorado? Yeah. Was it expected? No.
Okay.
Are we expected to beat the Blues? Yeah.
So
Did we? This is like
time.
This is the expected time.
If you lose in the first round, what is your opinion going to be then?
If we lose in the first round, I will never pick the Jets for anything ever again.
Pick them for the lottery odds. That's what I'll pick them for.
Listen, picking 3 years in a row. Honestly, I got to give my respects.
Respect. I mean, I've said it. I said respect for staying consistent.
Thank you. I am consistently biased, except this time, because I like how at the start of the year I said like I don't want to do any bias. I'm not doing any bias. I'm not picking the Jets to win the Stanley Cup. No bias, and then they just have to start off, win the President's Trophy, and it's like, well, now I just got to go against everything I just said.
Yeah, I totally get that. My pick, I'm actually going different from all of you. Vegas. I got Vegas coming out of the Western Conference.
Vegas is my finalist in the West.
Yes. All right. So that being said, LeBlanc, you have a Lightning Avalanche final 2022 rematch. Who are you taking to win the Stanley Cup and why?
Who won in 2022?
The Avalanche.
Well, the Lightning get their revenge.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got Lightning Cup champs. Why?
Vasilevsky. I think Vasilevsky, the 5-on-5 capabilities, they're built. They've been there before. They're built for the playoffs. I feel like this is like if earlier in the year, if you told at the draft, if you told me I would have picked the Lightning to go to the final, I probably would have said you must have hit your head. But I like what they've done. Vasilevsky's returning to form. I don't see a team beating them in a 7-game series.
Really?
I'm very confident in my pick.
Okay. Carter, you have Lightning versus Jets. I don't even know if I need to ask you, but who are you taking to win the cup and why?
Are you only asking me so I get clipped?
Yes.
I have the Jets winning the Stanley Cup for the 3rd year in a row. I am not proud of it, but it is what I am sticking to because I am a biased Jets fan.
Repeat!
How many games? How many games? How many games?
I'll take it in 7, just so that way I can drop $10,000 on the Game 7 tickets and try and be there.
How about Vasilevsky versus Hellebuck? That would be something.
Dude, that would be absolute cinema. I don't think that there's much better that you can ask for there. Literally the 2 best goalies would be unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear it. I would love to see that series.
Dude, it'd be awesome.
I got Knights and Canes in the final. I'm taking Vegas. It hurts for me to do it. I feel like nobody is talking about the Golden Knights. Absolutely nobody. And I have a feeling that they're going to go on a run this year, and everyone's going to be like, oh, it's Vegas. We hate them. And I'm not going to like it, but I'm still picking them to win the Stanley Cup. It's going to be over the Canes in 6.
That's how they get you. No one talks about the Knights. Boom, bitch, got you.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. So I'm not falling for it this time, Golden Knights. So if they come in and win the Cup, this is my greatest take ever. If they lose in the first round of the Wild, everybody but Jack looks bad. So just want to put that out there. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think there have been plenty of times. I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 3 years. The NBP has been going on for a year and a half. There have been plenty of times where we've picked teams that have gone 7th. I remember the year that Vegas won the Cup. I picked them 7th in the division and they won the Cup. When Florida won it last year, I picked Florida 7th or 8th in the division just because I thought they'd be really bad. I think LeBlanc did the same thing.
Yeah, we did.
And they won the Cup. So I wouldn't be shocked at the slightest if Montreal wins the Cup because that's where I had them. I had them that low.
I'll be.
And I think LeBlanc would.
I'll
LeBlanc
have
would
to go
end it
into
all.
hiding. Like I have to go.
LeBlanc would end it all. Carter. I don't think Carter has a say in that. Carter, who did you pick 7th in the division that's in the playoffs now? Probably St. Louis.
Oh, let me pull up my Excel spreadsheet.
Something like that.
I actually
that's what's
Evan. I
the
actually
expectation.
did pick St. Louis 7th in the division this year.
Oh, so they're gonna.
Oh, why would you tell me that? Great. Now all my confidence that I just had is completely shot.
My bad.
All right. Well, if my laptop was like any faster, dude, this would be so much.
I think I'd blue 7th as well, actually. So.
Okay, wait. 24, 25 NHL. No. Wait. Okay, I have it all here. No. Oh, fuck. Okay, Ottawa's winning the cup.
Woo!
Well, yeah, because you were hating. You were.
Oh,
hating
I was so low. I also had Montreal 6th, so that's something.
Yeah, you had Montreal higher. You and Jack were like Ottawa haters, and I remember in the preview, like I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, like, why do you have Montreal above Ottawa? Like, why are you hating on Ottawa so much? And you couldn't even give me. You're just like, I don't trust them because you picked them to win the cup in the first year of this podcast, and that's when we immediately lost all of our credibility. It was because of you guys, you two.
Well,
I lost my credibility years ago.
Well, why don't you just pipe it?
All right, I'll pipe it.
Oh, wow,
Okay.
great. I had Miro Heiskanen for Norris, damn. Holy.
Oh, I didn't age it either.
Well, he
All
got
right,
hurt, so I'm okay.
Can't be worse.
While we're here, we're gonna get into news. We're gonna do a playoff power rankings. But who are your guys' like with the teams you guys have winning? Who is your Conn Smythe picks? Just because why not? Let's do it for fun.
Ooh.
So LeBlanc, you can go first. You can pick one of a Lightning player or an Avalanche player. Give him a second.
Can
to
I
think
can,
here, 'cause
can I
I've
give
been
two
telling him we were
answers?
You go with two answers.
All right.
Why
It's
not?
either going to be Vasilevsky or I'm going to go with Braden Point.
Ooh, okay. Point's been super valuable the last couple of years in the playoffs, so I wouldn't hate that. Carter, you can pick one of a Jet or a Lightning. Who are you picking?
Think I'm picking a Lightning? Are you serious?
I didn't even have to say that.
Thanks. I don't know. I think it realistically it'll probably end up being Hellebuck if he plays really well. But if he plays half as good, I would take Josh Morrissey.
Ooh, okay.
If I was a betting man, I'd go with one of those two. But realistically, I think my number one pick would be Hellebuck.
Okay. I'm running with for Vegas. I'm gonna go with Jack Eichel. Just think Eichel has had a great year. He's gonna continue it into the playoffs, and that's my Conn Smythe pick. So yeah, that is our playoff predictions. It took us about an hour. Not too bad. Let's get into some news around the NHL real quick. So while we're both here, I don't have to make another NBP and another NordCast covering all this news. We can just get into it here right now. Nick Dowd signed a 2-year, $3 million contract. Nick Dowd, great fourth liner. Good contract, good deal. Nothing to really complain about there. Obviously, the Neil Pionk thing we talked about. The Iafallo one we talked about. We talked about all the other stuff. The Sharks will not be re-signing Georgiev. Greer told Georgiev that he will not be back to the team next year. He said that he'll just not be returning. He was acquired by the Avalanche earlier in the year. He helped the tank, that's for sure. 0.874 this year, 3.74 in 48 games played. He's on the final year of his deal. Could you guys see Georgiev getting a job somewhere else?
Yeah.
In the KHL?
Yeah, I could. Wongdong Tigers.
Get ready to learn FPHL, buddy.
10 out of 10. No, he's going to the KHL. He's going to China. I can't see this guy getting another NHL job. He's not like Campbell, Jack Campbell, or who's another guy that like was really bad. He's not like Campbell where like he can actually be decent in the AHL. He's just bad everywhere he goes, and he's Russian. So like, or is he Russian or is he Belarusian?
Or he's
Whatever.
both.
Yeah, he's probably one of the two. So that was very racist. I'm sorry. He'll probably be going back to Russia, I would imagine. So yeah, Georgiev, long gone. Suspensions. There were a couple of suspensions since we last talked on both ends of the pod. Darnell Nurse got suspended 1 game for the cross-check on Quinton Byfield. How did you guys feel about that?
I thought it should have been 2 games. I knew. I talked to Dylan about this. I said it's going to be 1 game because they want him back for game 1 of the playoffs. They're not going to give him 2 games. I thought it was like you look at the clip and like he's aware of what's going on. He looks down and he does it again.
Yeah. Does he have any previous supplementary disciplines?
He's got some fines under his belt. I think he's been suspended one more time. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But to be a repeat,
was he the one who took the big hit from Reeves earlier in the year? Was that him?
Maybe. I know to be a repeat offender, you have to be suspended or fined within the 18 months. So I don't think he's a repeat offender. Yeah,
so he gets 1 game for that. Carter, any thoughts on that? I sent you the clip, by the way, on Instagram.
For which one?
For the Nurse one. We'll get into the fully argument in a second.
Yeah. No, that one was dirty. Like, that was intentful by a mile. It's one thing to get him in the back for that. Like, then, okay, I could see how you have an argument there. But you got him straight in the back of the head, like, pushed him into the ice. Like, it was bad. And especially, like, knowing that was a potential playoff matchup, like, you can't have that. So I'm glad that they disciplined him, because that stuff better not fly in the playoffs.
Well, they came in there, like, it's like what, was it Fiala that said that? Where they had their B squad out there trying to beat us?
No, Deneau, I think.
Oh, Deneau. One of the two. One of them. One of the Kings. They said that, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, honestly, it's pretty dirty what they were doing that night. And again, it's gonna make for a very fun playoff series when we get to that point. And then Jesse Puljujarvi was also suspended two games for an illegal check to the head on Michelle Shafee. What did you guys think about this one?
I'm still watching the clip right now.
I think it's pretty dirty. I mean, I don't know. Puljujarvi, it's like, listen, I don't want to say this, but it's not a big deal that he's missing time, but I don't know. You guys, Carter, did you watch that one? What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of dirty. He gets him up high. Like,
it's definitely 2-game suspension, no doubt.
He tries to come in like all nonchalant about it, like, oh, look at me, and then boom. But pool party missing time. I don't think anybody's grasping at straws of that one. So
no, nobody's like losing their mind over it. So, I mean, I'm not saying that like he shouldn't have been suspended, but it's not like an insane loss.
I think Nurse should have got more games, because if Puljujarvi got 2, like players is so inconsistent. We've already had that conversation.
100%.
Yeah, that's 2 games. Then Nurse should be getting 4 or 3.
Yeah, honestly. 3 more things here. We have 2 power rankings that I want to do. We want to do a regular season one overall and then a playoff one. I want to talk about the Flames and Blue Jackets, who were eliminated from the playoffs. Let's start off with Calgary. They were knocked out for the 3rd straight year. It looked like they might have been able to get in, but they obviously couldn't get it done. Any thoughts on the Flames after a disappointing year? If
the Flames were in the Eastern Conference, they'd be a playoff team. That's one of the things that sucks about the conferences, is that you can have a really good year and still on the playoffs. Like 40 wins and you miss playoffs. That sucks. The Flames, like, from organizational standpoint, it's probably the worst case scenario, because you have no first round pick. You're not making the playoffs, and it was a whole year for nothing. But I see it as this: the young players stepped up. They showed their worth. Wolf had an amazing year. Like Wolf, I still think Wolf should win the Calder, but I think Calgary took great strides this year. I don't think they'll be at this level next year. I don't know what their plan is going forward. But Zane Parek's making his debut tonight. Maybe we can hopefully he has a good game. But Calgary's in good hands though.
I've seen a lot of references to last year's Flyers and like, oh, they're bad. They have no. I think Calgary has a better prospect pool than the Flyers did last year.
Yeah.
They have a lot of better players than Philadelphia does anyways. I think they're in a different spot. They also have a very good goaltender. Philadelphia has like 3 shitty goaltenders, and if you combine them together, they don't even equal the Dustin Wolf. It's funny how I'm adding goalies together, but anyways, yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. Carter, any thoughts on Calgary? Your one possible playoff opponent that you might have been playing?
Yeah, one of the few that it came down to the wire for.
Yeah. And then Columbus as well was also bounced. It looked like they might have been able to get it done, but Montreal won last night, and it's over. Columbus, I do want to just start off. It was a terrific story. I mean, the tragic passing of Gaudreau and all that, and then coming in and, going on that run. It sucks they didn't make it, but they're in a situation, too, where, like, they have a really good future. Their core is built. It's young. It's good. Fantilli had 30 goals this year. I think that is something. It's just been an unreal year from Columbus. So, like, I have nothing to complain about the Blue Jackets there whatsoever.
What a year for the Ohio boys down there. Adamo Fantilli, that's his real name. Amazing year. I think he's going to be a star there. Like, exceeded expectations by a mile. Like we had this team dead in the water. Like, dead in the water.
We did. We had them last in the division.
To be like, well, if they win tonight, they would have been a 2 point out of playoff spot. That's insane. They have great prospects coming up. They're gonna have a lot of money this offseason. So there might be some big spenders this offseason. But yeah, Jet Greaves. No one talks about Jet Greaves. He was fantastic in his call-up. And I think next year he has a shot to maybe be the backup, maybe the starter.
Well, Merz Leakins is bad. I have not liked Merz Leakins for years. And I also think, too, that Tarasov might be on his way out in terms of just how he's played.
So I went to go see Columbus twice this year. Tarasov started both games. Tarasov did not finish both games.
No. Yeah.
That's
honestly, like, last year he was okay, but this year, not good. Carter, any thoughts on CBJ?
On CBJ,
I know you're a big Fantilli guy.
I do love me some Adam Fantilli. I do love Adam Fantilli. He's a stud. He's really good. Happy that he got his first 30 goal campaign. He looked really good. Kent Johnson's actually really looked good this year too. He looked unbelievable. They had a lot of guys kind of break out this year. Fantilli broke out. Johnson broke out. Sillinger had a really good year. Monahan was so good. He played like a true number one center this year. Was very good in the face-off department. Was very good all around. And that back end too was really good. Werenski looked like a Norris candidate. This was a really good season for Columbus. Like, outside of them just not having a goaltender right now, like this is a very good, very young team with a lot of potential coming down.
If they had a goalie who was competent, do you guys think they make it?
I think so.
If they don't go on that big stretch in March where they lost 7 in a row, they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. If they didn't lose that, if they even won like half of those games, not even a quarter of them.
Playoff team.
They're a playoff team.
The one thing I do know is that Johnny would be extremely proud of this team.
Yeah, he would be. He would be. I want to say, I want to talk about Johnson and Sillinger because, Carter, you brought them up and you made a very good point. Ken Johnson last year, like at this time last year, we were talking about Johnson as a bust. Like, he wasn't a good player. He was a bust. We thought he wasn't going to be good. Last year, he only had 16 points in 42 games, spent time in the AHL. There was some doubts. This year, he comes in, plays the full year with the Blue Jackets. Not the full year like games played, but he did play all the way up in the NHL. 67 games played, 57 points, a career high from 22-23. So he took a massive step this year, and I think that's huge. Cole Sillinger, around the same numbers as he did last year. I think this is kind of what he's going to be. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be a lot better than what he is right now, but he's still relatively young. He's 21 years old, so I'm not counting him out there just yet, but 31 points in 65 games played as opposed to 32 points in 77 last year. Still a very good player. So I think their youth took a massive step this year, and I think you got to look at that with some happiness if you're a Blue Jackets fan. I know it sucks, but I think they could be back in it next year. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed some of these teams that are in there right now are in there next year. Who knows? Who knows? All right, one more thing that I do want to discuss before we get into our power rankings. There was something that came out today that, we tend to avoid the hard topics here on the podcast, both podcasts. But we're going to go into this one because I do want to actually talk about these topics because there are things in hockey that are a problem, and this is a real problem. So Artemi Panarin apparently in December of 2023 was alleged of sexually assaulting a Rangers employee, and there was an Athletic article posted today, and there was an announcement that they came to a settlement. And I want to read a little bit of excerpts from the article talking about it here. So the alleged assault, I'll put the thing on screen like I did for Dahan. The alleged assaults occurred on December 2023 during a Rangers road trip. According to two Rangers sources briefed with the allegation, Panarin and the woman, who was a regular part of the team's traveling party, were at a post-game party gathering in a hotel, right about a dozen other players and staff members. So with about a dozen other players and staff members. Panarin allegedly took her phone and said he would only give it back if she retrieved it from his hotel room. And the resources told us that. When she went to his hotel to retrieve the device, Panarin pinned her down on the bed. She pushed him off, retrieved her phone, and left the room. There is no record of the woman reporting the incident to law enforcement. She also did not immediately alert the team, but about 3 months after the alleged sexual assault, she informed the team as part of the investigation on a separate incident. The team learned that the woman whose anxiety around airplane travel was well known among team members had shared her anti-anxiety medicine with a player who had the same issue. She was placed on leave pending the outcome of that investigation. The female employee felt she was treated unfairly, according to team sources, and she then informed the team about the alleged assault. While the woman was still on leave, an executive from MSG Sports convened a virtual meeting that included multiple Rangers office staff and a human resources representative. Attendees did not talk to people about the woman's situation, according to multiple people on call. The attorney completely reamed us out, quote. According to the one attendee, because people were openly talking about the woman's absence. One person who worked for the Rangers at the time, the woman was placed on leave at the suddenness of the woman's exit, made it a topic of conversation within the organization. It is not a secret at all anytime someone vanishes. I'm talking very fast. In August, MSG and Panarin reached settlement agreements with the woman, and her employment with the team ended. At the time of the woman's disclosure, Panarin led the team with 43 goals and 102 points. It was in contention for the Hart Trophy, awarded to the NHL's most valuable player of the team. The 33-year-old Russian native has led the team in scoring each year since joining the team in 2019. The league and the Rangers declined to say whether Panarin was subject to any discipline.
The worst part of the situation is that it's not Panarin's first incident with SA.
It is not.
And I think so when this broke, I woke up and I saw it, and I just, I do what I do. I just scroll on Twitter in the morning when I'm in my bed. And I think the most disgusting I've seen is that you have Rangers fans condoning the conduct of their player, which is just awful. Like, this is something that needs to be taken more seriously around the league. It needs to be taken. I don't know. Like, now this is out in the public. I don't know what Panarin's future with the Rangers is, because this is a very serious.
I must say that's not all fans that are condoning it. That's a few bad apples.
Like I'm not saying Rangers fans in general. I'm just saying the ones I saw were there. And it was bad.
It says a lot of bad things about hockey's culture. Mm-hmm. It's a real problem. It's a real problem that I don't think people like to admit. That this is unfortunately a common thing in not just the NHL, but like the sport. Like, you see all these allegations. Like, what nobody is really talking about here, the trial with the 6 players who were charged with that sexual assault, including some notable NHLers like Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, a couple of the players there as well. I'm forgetting their names.
Formanson.
Yeah. the trial is starting like very soon. Like it might have even already started already. It's going through the playoffs.
Yeah, it's starting at the end of May or middle of May, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. So it's starting in the middle of the playoffs, and that's one of the many other instances where there have been junior teams and NHL players and other instances of sexual assault and other things happening. And I think that is a massive culture problem in hockey, and I don't really know how you solve it. I don't really know how you make it go away, because apparently for such a long period of time we thought this stuff was okay, and it's nowhere near okay. I don't know what you do to stop it. Do you have any thoughts on this, Carter?
It is actually like fucking disgusting, to be quite frank. Like, it is disgusting the fact that this is something that happens. Not even just in the NHL, but just like in
Junior
sports, like it happens so often. And this is like, it's really upsetting when it's players who, you know, a lot of kids look up to. Like, there's probably a lot of kids in New York who look up to Artemi Panarin when they play hockey. Like, it's the same with all these players. Like, there's so many goalies in Philly who probably looked up to Carter Hart and all that. Like, people in New Jersey who looked up to McLeod or Calgary and Dubé, right? Like, it just sucks that all these figures take this power that they have and just completely use it for no good. And there's not much you can really say, but it is downright disgusting. Like, I don't care if they reached a settlement. Like, the NHL has to do something about this, because this is sickening. And the fact that he was still able to play, like, during this is also not good for the league. Like, if this kind of trial was happening in the offseason, okay, sure. But if they're concluding the end of this in the right before playoffs, then this has been going on all season.
A year and a half later, by the way.
Yeah, like, and we haven't done anything about it. Like, that to me is just absolutely, it's atrocious. It's atrocious. The fact that he was still able to play during all this. So, yeah, that is just, it's absolutely disgusting.
At the time of the women's disclosure, Panarin led the team with 43 goals and 102 points and was in contention for the Hart Trophy. Keep in mind, this happened in December of 2023.
So
it was the year the Rangers were in the playoffs.
She reported 3 months later, and the team didn't do anything because, and I'm going to say this because some teams have done this, when your player's under investigation or something, we can't address this now. We're in a playoff push.
No, it's the playoffs. No, it's the playoffs. We can't. No.
Like, that's gross. That's, like, it's because I don't want to say understand it, because I just don't understand it. Like, your player committed a crime, and you're just going to say, no, it's fine. People don't learn unless there's consequences. Because if there's no consequences, guess what? They're probably going to do it again.
Yeah, if you get, it's like you steal from a store. Like, I know that happens. It's the most common thing in America. Let's say you steal from a store, you get no repercussion. Oh, I can do it and get away with it. I'll do it again. Same instance. Just it's such a real culture problem, and the fact that, like, they're putting playoffs and shit over it too. Like, you look at the Blackhawks one in 2010.
Yeah, Quenville put playoffs over the incident.
Yeah, just I don't. That's not right. It's not, especially since the Rangers didn't win anything in the playoffs either.
Now that it's out in the public, I can see a world where the Panarin's not a Ranger next year, where he's.
I could also see a world where that's the case.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
But it's like, who's going to touch him? Like, they're like, we talk about, like, this as being like a problem. Like, the fact that it was settled means that like they had to get this like done, and someone is in the wrong here. But like you look at like a guy like Trevor Bauer, like he was accused of it, and then everything ended up being not false. I'm not saying that this is what is up with Artemi Panarin, but that guy, with everything being proved false, he's still not getting touched by the MLB. Like it's crazy, and like the fact that Artemi Panarin, and as LeBlanc said, you said this isn't his first time. Like it's downright disgraceful. I don't care if he's one of the NHL's best. Like it's disgusting. The fact that he's still able to do something without any repercussions from the league or his job. Because you do something at your job, you do something that, like, if you're working somewhere and you do something and you mess up, chances are you're getting disciplined at your job. He got nothing. This wasn't a random woman. This was a woman on the team. It's gross. It's atrocious to the league and to the Rangers organization. Like that is actually bull.
Well, we've been saying so much about the Rangers organization and the culture problem there and everything like that. This just backs it up even more. This is the icing on the cake. Yeah, honestly,
we had a big old rant about the Rangers, didn't we?
We did.
Yes, we did.
So sorry. Go ahead.
But the worst part of this, and we've seen this all year, we saw multiple arrests this year for kids in junior hockey getting arrested for SA, getting arrested for, illegally touching someone. Because that's the culture. That's just, it's disgusting culture, and it needs to be sniffed out. And I don't know how you're going to sniff it out, but as I think I said it before, when you have consequences, people learn. When you have a child who does something bad, how do you discipline the child? You give him consequences or them consequences, so they're not going to do it again.
Yeah, the players who are involved in that sexual assault case that's going on during the playoffs, they will not get NHL jobs. They won't. Jake Virtanen, many will remember him. Yep. He was trialed for sexual assault. First off, he wasn't that good. He actually did get a PTO back with the Oilers because, of course, it's the Oilers. Of course it is. They got Stan Bowman there, too. It's just weird things going on there. Virtanen never got past that PTO. It's very uncommon. You see players get back into the NHL after dealing with something like this. Slava Voynov, another example. Was he sexual assault? He was abuse.
He was domestic violence. He beat his wife.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know. You said something about how Panarin might not be a Ranger next year. Again, who would touch him with this? You could buy him out. It's a possibility. I'm sure there's a way though that they could opt out of that contract.
But it's the Rangers. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna let him play out this last year. It's the Rangers. They're not gonna do a thing.
No, they won't do shit. You're 100% right.
He does have 1 year left on his contract, so it would be an easy just terminate the contract.
Mm-hmm.
It would be. But I don't know if that happens. The Rangers might be like, oh, no, we're going one last year in the playoffs. No.
It's gross. It needs to be sniffed out, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but you need to figure it out because, players can't be committing crimes and then be still being able to go back to work. Like nothing.
Hey, by the way, you know who plays tonight?
The Rangers.
Is it the Rangers?
They do. You know who's probably playing tonight?
Panarin.
It says he's a game-time decision on Daily Faceoff.
Doubtful.
Just such a horrible look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as the league's starting to get good PR, good just everything,
I think the worst part of it is that she insulted an employee. It wasn't just I say it's a very serious subject, but this is someone who was on the clock working.
Exactly, working with the team, covering the team. Terrible look. Yeah, we're gonna wrap there. I don't think we should do anything else after that. I knew I said we were gonna do power rankings. We'll do those off screen. But that's it for this episode of the NordCast. I wanted to talk about that because I think if we're a podcast, we're a hockey podcast. We shouldn't just talk about the business side of the game and all that. We should talk about the hard topics. And I think that goes for both sides. So we'll leave it at that. We went into a good 20-minute discussion about that. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching or listening. This is episode number 102 and episode 48 of the NBP. So thanks for tuning in on the block. Thanks for collabing with us. And that being said, playoffs are coming. Any final thoughts, LeBlanc?
Suit up. Brady Kachuk. I don't give a fuck. Sends in 5.
Nah, that's awesome. Sends in 5. Carter, any final thoughts?
I mean, I already gave my Jets in 5 one earlier, so I don't really have one off the dome piece, but you know what? Just Jets in 5. Hella buck, don't need luck, don't give a fuck. Jets in 5.
Oh my God.
Nordic, I got one more thing about picking with your heart. He's picking with your heart in this episode. I used to pick with my heart in high school when I did the bracket challenge until 1 year. I got the entire western side of the bracket incorrect.
Oof.
Well, good thing I hold my brain a lot of the time. So
That's not much better, Nordic.
it's not. You're right. All right, that's it for this one. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.